Hello friends, welcome back to Technique. In this video, we'll be having a look at the camera on the Poco X7 Pro. So Poco X7 Pro has created a huge buzz with the Dimensity 8400 Ultra at around 27,000 price segment, and it also comes with great hardware along with a 6550 mAh battery. So in this video, we'll be looking at the camera experience of the Poco X7 Pro. Now let's go straight into the camera review, but before that, if this is your first time on this channel, do hit that subscribe button and also hit the bell icon to get notified of all the videos we publish. Let's first have a look at the hardware. Now the primary camera is a Sony Lowlight 600 sensor. It has optical image stabilization and electronic image stabilization with f1.59 aperture, so it definitely has a larger aperture. Now secondary camera is a basic ultra-wide shooter. It's an 8 megapixel shooter with 120 field of view. Now the front cameras are upgraded. Now you get a 20 megapixel shooter for the selfies compared to the 16 megapixel on the Poco X6 Pro. Now the video recording is up to 4K 60 FPS using the rear camera. So let's see how good the camera experience is. So let's first have a look at the daylight captures. Now in terms of daylight conditions, what you can see here, there is good amount of details. The colors are nice and wide. The dynamic range also looks quite okay, but it is not a camera which would wow you, but then it won't disappoint as well. The overall dynamic range, the quality definitely looks good. The contrast ratios are also quite acceptable, I would say. The sky colors are also done well. The white balance seems to be slightly off at times, but nevertheless it does a quite good job with the 50 megapixel shooter. There is adequate amount of details on offer, and at 100% crop as well, it offers good quality. So it's definitely a good camera with the primary shooter. Now moving on to the ultra wide angle camera. Now this is where things are not that great. You can see that the color science is completely off, completely different color science for the ultra wide angle camera. It's more richer and saturated, and the details are kind of very much average, I would say. Now when it comes to close-up shots, once again the colors are slightly richer, but the details are good. The dynamic range once again looks good, and overall quality of the close-up shots also looks quite acceptable, I would say, in this price segment. Even in low light conditions or artificial light, the close-up images definitely looks kind of acceptable. There isn't much of noise even in indoor shots. Now when it comes to portraits, we would say it's kind of decent experience. Once again, the skin tones are not that impressive, but the edge detection looks quite okay. Once again, there are slight misses in the edge detection. Skin tones could be slightly better overall, but I would say it's kind of acceptable at times. So that's the portrait camera. Overall, I would say in terms of low light experience, it was quite decent, I would say, once again. But some areas the contrast ratio seems to be slightly off. It's too contrasty portraits, but these are some things which can be fixed with software updates. Now moving on to the low light condition, in indoor artificial light, it produces good details, good dynamic range as well. The sharpness levels are also once again acceptable. Now when it comes to extreme low light, you can see that it does retain good details, but noise levels are definitely on the high side, obviously because it's an extreme low light. But nevertheless, it does quite good job, I would say, for the price segment, and it won't disappoint users with extreme low light conditions. So that's the low light captures taken with the Poco X7 Pro. Now moving on to the selfies, the 20 megapixel shooter was kind of decent. Once again, I wouldn't say this is something which is really great, especially the skin tones were not that well done. It's a wide 20 megapixel shooter, so you can take group selfies. The dynamic range definitely looks quite okay, but once again the contrast seems to be slightly off at times, and the color rendering also looks different at times. Now the edge detection in portrait selfies turned out to be a decent experience. Now when it comes to video recording, you get 4K 60 FPS up from 4K 30 FPS on the Poco X6 Pro. The video quality looks okayish. Once again, the color science looks good. The stabilization is done quite well, although overall detailing looks quite okay. Now when it comes to 1080p resolution, it's the same experience overall. The details looks good, the dynamic range and colors also looks good. Once again, the stabilization works pretty well. Now when it comes to ultra wide, it's kind of very much possible experience because it's not that sharp, and once again the colors are not that good compared to the primary shooter. So it's just an average ultra wide shooter. So this is the selfie camera sample taken with the Poco X7 Pro. So it can record videos only in 1080p resolution. So you can judge yourself how good the clarity of the video is and also the audio output. So that is a detailed camera review of the Poco X7 Pro. So as a whole, I would say the primary camera does a quite good job, especially in terms of daylight conditions and also low light experience. But selfies turned out to be pretty much average experience, and even the skin tones in portraits doesn't seems to be that impressive. These are kind of things which can be fixed via software updates. We expect Poco to work on the camera quality with better overall fine tuning, especially for contrast, and also white balance seems to be off, and even the color reproduction was not that impressive. So as a whole, I would say this is a device which won't disappoint with camera, but it won't wow you as well. If you're looking for the best camera experience, probably look elsewhere. This is more of a performance device, but with a decent camera setup. So that was my experience with the Poco X7 Pro camera. Hope you enjoyed watching this video. Do hit that like button and also hit the subscribe button for more videos. Thanks for watching. Hope to see you in our next video. Have a great day.